My next guest, entrepreneur and now film producer, Adam Freed. How you doing, brother?
Yes, that is me. Hello, Dan.
Where are you today? Because you reside now in Germany. Where are you this morning?
You know, sometimes I wake up, I don't even know where I am. So in the past month, I'm in Chicago right now, and I have a big event tonight. We're showing The Walk. Last month, I was in New York for the Soho International Film Festival. Great event. And next week, I'm going to Santa Barbara for the Santa Barbara Jewish Film Festival. So yeah, lots going on. It's very exciting, and I never thought I would be in this position.
Yeah, man. So first, a little bit about your backstory. How does a kid from the North Shore of Chicago end up in Germany?
I'm still trying to figure that out.
So we all are.
So yeah, look, all my friends never thought I would obviously end up or stay in Germany. Long story short, I met a German woman. We got married, and we decided to have a child. And I ended up, going back to Germany with her to have our child there. And that's how I found myself, living in Germany. And I never thought I was going to get into filmmaking or anything like that. But, here I am. And the timing of this is interesting. I'm stepping up to do what I can.
So you've been in Germany for a while. What's your favorite part of Germany?
It's funny because people ask me what my favorite thing of Germany is, and I tell them Austria. Because I love going to Austria. It's only a couple hours away, and I love the mountains.
Yeah,
so I love going there, and this is how like fanatical I've become about this. On my birthday 2 years ago, I was going down to Austria, and I knew of this major subcamp there, and it was called it was literally one of these camps in a town called Ebensee. No one in the U.S. knows about it, and it was this massive mountain range that the Nazis had 26,000 prisoners dig out the inside of this mountain for literally miles of tunnels. And I have a great, in my presentation, I do a really nice discovery of what I found there. And it's pretty fascinating. But again, this is one of those stories. So there were 26,000 prisoners who went through. Mm-hmm. Over 8,000 of them died. Wow. Over 8,000 of them died. And one of the most strikingly odd things, on the camp grounds where it was, there's a memorial, but there's also 120 single family homes.
You're kidding me.
And that's one of those things. And I asked the curator of the whole memorial, and there's a little museum in the town. I said, how could they build homes there? And his answer was, out of the ashes, they wanted to create, life and something new. Mm-hmm. That was his answer.
Yeah, that's a.
I believe him, but I also, as a new filmmaker, I'd also love to go knock on those people's doors and ask them what it's like to live there.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me when you?
Oh, trust me, they all know what happened there. You can't miss it.
Yeah. Didn't you tell me on your walks you went to a memorial and you saw your family's name, right, or something like that?
Yeah. This is the camp that I'm talking about, and I'll send you I have a short video for this.
Yeah.
But they created what's called the Wall of Names. Mm-hmm. And it's these glass panels that go on for, I'm not kidding you, 200 yards almost. No, a good almost 100 yards. And one of the panels, my last name is Freed.
Right.
And in doing my research for all this, I found out my name was shortened from Friedman to Freed. So on this one panel that I'm going to show you, check out all these names. This is a list of, it's a whole panel of Freeds and Friedmans. And when I saw that the first time, like the hair on my neck stood up.
Yeah, and these are your relatives.
Right, exactly. It was crazy. So, their thing was putting a name to what happened. That's what they wanted to do. And they do, like I said, they do a very good job of it. But like I said, the 120 people who live in the neighborhood that's literally on the outline of the camp. I'm just
Creepy.
like, it's very creepy.
Yeah. So take a step back. Your history is an entrepreneur, right? You've built a couple successful businesses. How does a guy who's never done anything related to film all of a sudden fall into making short films?
Yeah. So, yeah, you know me well. I started out as an entrepreneur. I had a business in the printing
Mhm.
industry for about 17 years. And then, yeah, after I got married, moved to Germany. And two things. One, I had to find something else to do. I wanted to find something else to do. And I realized, based on the history of what happened there and what I would discover every day, I said, I need, I grew up Jewish,
Right.
and moving there, you see things every day that, every day I'm reminded of the Holocaust,
Right.
and it's not a good thing. I mean, it's not a good thing, but I had to learn to live with it.
Mhm.
So the stories that I uncovered, in living there, I realized most people in the US don't know. I'm walking down the street and my wife at the time says, "Oh, look at that building right there. That was a concentration camp." And literally it's like a 5 flat apartment building. And I said, there's no way. And I started doing research. And
Mhm.
that kind of led me down the rabbit hole of getting, one, super passionate about, finding out more about this stuff. And at the same time, it's a little bit maddening, because once
Yeah.
you start going down the rabbit hole, you keep going and you keep going. So the Coliseum, there was this building called the Coliseum, and it was
Mhm.
what's called a subcamp. Again, I grew up Jewish. I never knew about these things. So during the war, they had 500 prisoners there jammed on one of those floors. And by the way, I'll send you some images so you can maybe
Yeah.
incorporate
We'll
them
put them in the
in.
show notes. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so um, this building, the Coliseum, for only like 2 months during the war, towards the end of the war, it was used as a concentration camp, a little sub camp. And I said, wait, where did these prisoners come from? What were they doing? So after the Allies bombed the train station in my
Mhm.
town of Regensburg, they brought prisoners from a work camp called Flossenburg. And Flossenburg is located about an hour away from me. So I had to go there and check out that camp. So it's as you go down this rabbit hole, let me say it. It's there's so much information out there, and again, no one in the U.S. knows about most of this stuff. So that's what started my passion for wanting to make these films.
Yeah, these are stories that need to be told. And you're right. The sub camps, as I understand them, they were sort of, unfortunately, the camps that everybody kind of knows about, the headliners are, kind of death camps, right? They're their last leg, and
Auschwitz,
they're gonna,
yeah,
yeah, horrible things. The sub camps are a little bit more manufacturing, right, to support the war. That they put them to work, build things and whatnot. Am I correct?
yeah. So you ask 99.9% of the people in the U.S. and also around the world,
Right.
name a concentration camp, they're going to say Auschwitz,
Auschwitz. Yeah.
maybe Dachau.
Right.
They're not going. They have no one knows about the Colosseum or Ebensee or Obertraubling or
Yeah.
Solon Donau. These are all camps that I discovered in living there.
Mhm.
And yeah, the work camps, what I found was, almost worse than Auschwitz, because the Nazi, the SS basically had a criminal organization,
Mhm.
and they would loan out these prisoners to companies such as BMW, Mercedes, every little business, every small and large
Terrible.
business in Germany would loan out people. And even in Regensburg, where I live now, there was a factory, a Messerschmitt factory started by Willy Messerschmitt, and they made fighter airplanes. So in this little town of Regensburg, they had a huge facility, and they made 12,000 planes during the war. And when the Allies could finally reach that area of Germany in southeastern, Germany, Bavaria, they bombed it. It wasn't even that successful. It stopped production for a few months, maybe, and yeah, and that's why the prisoners were brought there.
Amazing, and you walk by it every day, and there's probably a Starbucks nearby, and no one knows this history. It's atrocious.
Look, you know, my daughter and I play in this cement little playground. Not
Yeah.
even a play. It's a cement memorial, and
Yeah.
people gather there, and little kids run around. And it's where the synagogue was burned down in the destroyed in the 1500s, and all the Jewish people in the city were kicked out, banished from the city because of a change in politics. And as my daughter and I are sitting there eating ice cream or drinking hot chocolate, I look around and I think, do these people know exactly where they're sitting? It's completely hollowed ground.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I walk around Germany, look, the German government has done amazing things. Just last week, with the events that have happened in Israel,
Mhm.
there's a very powerful picture
I
of the
saw it. Yeah.
Brandenburg Gate. Yeah, lit up with, the colors and flag of Israel.
That was very cool.
80 to 100 years ago, do you think, could those people have ever imagined that? So
No.
I am, I'm thankful for the German government. They would never want, anything to happen to another Jewish person on their
Mhm.
soil. But yeah, as an American Jewish man living there, there's some days it's very difficult. I walk around and I'm like, you know, every little town I go to has some sort of remembrance, memorial to what happened to the war. And yeah, I kind of had to reconcile that in order to live there. And making these films really
Yeah.
helps that.
I've known you a long time. I never knew you to be a religious guy. Have you reconnected with your faith in this process, or?
Interesting question. So I've lived in Germany about 5 years now. When I moved there, I really didn't care about being Jewish,
Yeah.
but seeing look, we all grew up learning about the Holocaust. When you live there, it's completely different. Like I said, the German government's done a great job of remembering things,
Mhm.
but a lot of that's for tourists who come there to see these things. When you live there every day, it's a constant reminder. So I walk out my front door, 10 feet from my front door, there's three what's called Stoppelsteine. And
Mhm.
they're these little brass
Yeah.
plaques.
Those little plaques. Yeah.
I'll send you a picture. They're these little brass plaques that tell, a Jewish person used to live in this building and they were born on this day. They were deported on this date and the camp that they were deported to and killed. So in my city, there's almost 250 of these spread all around. So I walk down Ludwigstrasse, and not only are there a bunch of Stoppelsteiners there, it was also the street where a lot of Jewish businesses were. So in 1938, my favorite Italian deli that I go into was, it was a Jewish business and it was destroyed. You keep
Amazing.
walking, and there was a huge department store owned by a Jewish man, and then taken over by the Nazis or Aryanized, and then given to a German national for pennies on the dollar. And that company is still going today.
That is amazing.
So
So,
it's
so this started to eat at you, and this was a story that you needed to be told. Let's take a step
wait,
back.
sorry,
Go.
sorry. Let me answer the faith thing because I completely got off track
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
minute.
Go for
So
it. Yeah.
okay, so
ADD kicked in.
you know, yeah. When, when I moved to Germany like almost 5 years ago, I didn't care about being Jewish, but
Right.
when you grow up learning about the Holocaust, when you live there, it's completely different. So I saw what, the Jewish people, anti-Semitism, as we know, didn't start in the 1930s. It goes back to the beginning of time.
Sure.
So after doing my research and finding out all the things I found out, I mean, there was a rabbinical school
Mhm.
in my town in the 1200s. So Jewish people were there thriving. And so after seeing all of that and learning and researching, it really started to awaken, my Jewish heritage.
Mhm.
I'd never been to the synagogue there. I ended up going in there and sitting there. And even though I speak very little German and no Hebrew, I sat there and it was very, very powerful because of what the people who were there now had to
Mhm.
go through just to be able to worship in Germany and around the world.
Wow, that's that. Yeah, I think you told me that the synagogue there is there's an armed guard that you have to check in or something like that.
The- So to get into the synagogue, again,
Yeah.
I'll send you some video. To get into the synagogue. First, if there's a service or an event going on there is a German policeman or police person, officer, standing there with a submachine gun and his finger, close to it.
Mhm.
His finger is close to the trigger. And I say hello, you keep walking, and they have a set of reinforced doors that have to open. You walk in, those doors have to shut behind you, and you have to get approved by the person behind bulletproof glass to have the other set of reinforced steel and wood reinforced doors open up. So you're like in this
Wow.
capsule, and that's how, it's there's a lot of security and protection there. But it's a really strange thing. As a Jewish person, I almost
Yeah.
feel safer in Germany than I do in a lot of other areas around the world, including the US.
Wow, that's crazy. So you spend your time walking around this town and being constantly reminded. What made you want to make a short film? A, and then B, what goes into a short film? Because I know you're not a filmmaker, and you put a lot of time and well, now you are, but you put a lot of time, energy, sweat, and tears into this thing. Walk me through the process of just why, and then how do you make a short film? Like, I have no idea.
So the first step to this was I wanted to get into documentary filmmaking
Mhm.
because of all the stories that I saw. I've always loved film, but it was, just I always loved
Yeah.
making little, fun videos and stuff. But now it definitely developed into more of a passion. And but what goes into it? There's a lot that goes into it. We made a feature film as well that's coming
Mhm.
out next year. It's called Everything's Kosher. And, it started out as a small project with one camera, and then quickly, blossomed into two cameras. And then if you're going to have two cameras, you need a sound guy. And if you're going to have a sound guy, then you need some better lighting people.
Yeah.
And if you need that, you need production assistants to help, carry stuff around and move. So it's been definitely a learning process. But it's like owning a business. It's literally,
Yeah.
being a producer is like owning a business. And I realized, I didn't want to learn every little intimate technical detail about the cameras and the
Mhm.
sound and the lighting. That doesn't interest me. Producing it's like being the CEO
Yeah.
of a little business.
Yeah.
And you have to set everything up. You have to manage the people. You have to make sure they're fed, following the rules, all that stuff. So it's be coming from an entrepreneurial world. It's also, I kind of knew what to do, managing
Right. So
people,
so
all
so
that.
your entrepreneurial, like, what were the lessons that you were able to take as a business owner and apply them uh to the movie making process?
You need so applying things from an entrepreneur going to, the movie making business. You're dealing with a lot of creative people.
Right.
So creative people aren't always the best business people, as I knew working with photographers over the years.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's where my CEO instincts kind of kicked in. And we got to set up a budget, and you got to
Yeah.
follow that budget, and you have to know. And again, a budget is just really a plan. And but it was also like it's also a I had what's the word? Um, it was like trial by fire. Is that the term? You
Yeah, we'll
know,
go with it.
the guy who got the guy who got me, and they said, "Oh, insurance will be about $1,000." Great, put that in the budget. Well,
Right.
when the time comes, well, there's an overseas production with people coming from the U.S. and traveling back and forth a few times. Oh, that insurance isn't $1,000; it's $9,000.
Right.
And for the crew to get their camera gear in and out of countries, there's something called a carnet. So that's like it allows you to bring equipment in and out. So there's a lot of rules I had to learn very quickly. But again, it's as an entrepreneur, you're constantly
You're
adapting.
constantly adapting, yeah.
You're
And you don't
managing
fold under pressure,
people.
you just adapt, pivot, and go. And that's the lessons that you learn in business that you're gonna learn anywhere else.
Exactly. And if you don't, you're going to go broke. But at the same, like in movie making, like each day is like a special project. You start
Right.
the day, you know your plan, it might go a little sideways, but by the end of the day you have to get this shot, and this shot, and make it all work. So
Yeah.
you plan your day, hope it all works out. But yes, you absolutely have to adapt and pivot like that.
Now, if you could go back in time and lessons learned that you could apply to the start of this process, what would you take back with you? Other than the insurance policies that you need to fly internationally with equipment.
Okay. Yeah. So going back again, it's trial by error, and you really have to have a great team.
Yeah.
You have to be comfortable with the people you're working with. And this is I'm almost at the level of Spielberg and Scorsese. I'm
Pretty
not at
soon,
the
you're on your
I'm
way.
not at the I'm not at the level of Spielberg or Scorsese, but there's a reason you always see, oh, they work with the same people, right?
Yeah, sure.
Look at our favorite films, Goodfellas, The Godfather.
Same
It's
cast
all
of
the same
characters.
people.
Right.
Exactly. That's what they bring the same cast because they know what they can get out of those people. So it's
Right.
you quickly you have your A players and you
Mhm.
keep them. Your C players, get rid of them because they can bring down the whole production, just like they can, affect and poison your business.
This episode is brought to you by Buena Vista Creative, Miami's premier digital marketing agency. Visit buenavistacreative.com for more info on how Buena Vista can help your business increase revenue and create the brand and digital presence it deserves. Video and podcast production, web and app development, search engine and social media marketing, logo creation, outdoor, print, swag, and more. Visit buenavistacreative.com to learn more.
You've been accepted and won awards in a bunch of film festivals. How has the movie been received? And then how has the movie specifically in the Jewish community been received?
Yeah, good question. So when I started the whole process, this stuff with Israel or the tragedies in Israel and the Middle East
Yeah.
weren't happening. And the film was being very well received. It's very powerful. It's a very personal story, but it shows what it's like for a Jewish person to live, in Germany. And the Jewish community is very positive about it. It's, it deals with a very difficult topic.
Sure.
Showing images of Nazis and concentration camps to Jewish people is it's very sensitive.
Mhm.
But by the end, it shows my journey from not knowing anything to being much more passionate about my Jewish heritage and being really proud of it. So
Mhm.
they really are taking it well.
Good. Walk me through the film festival scene. So you're an amateur, or you were an amateur filmmaker. What is that scene like? I went with you to Soho, the Soho Film Festival, and one of the big takeaways for me is, they brought all the short film producers on stage. You're there, and you were the only one who had never had anything to do with the arts, filmmaking, acting,
Right,
nothing.
right,
And
right.
in my opinion, not because you're my friend, yours was every bit as good, if not better, than that. Talk to me about the film festivals. How do you get in? What is that like? Like, I had no idea. I mean, you taught me a little bit, but I really had no idea what that world was all about.
Yeah, the film festival circuit is very interesting.
Mhm.
To get into the top tier, your
Yeah.
Sundances, your Tribecas, your TIFFs, it's really hard. Like you need to be an established person with a very good, a top cast. You
Yeah.
need PR people, all that stuff. I learned about sales agents and distributors and all this stuff. And it's very easy to apply, but there's also, you got to be careful. There's a lot of, shysters out there. Okay.
Sure.
Like for instance, in the same day, I got into the Dubai International Film Festival and the Vienna, Austria International Film Festival.
Mhm.
Well, in doing further research, they're both online festivals.
Okay.
So I got the same candy. So it's it's some
From a
guy.
big corporation.
It's brilliant. Some
Right.
guy or some company who says, "Oh, we're going to have a quote international film festival in every major city around the world," but it's just an online festival and it's just a money grab. They're just trying to
Yeah.
get people to apply, and you get the laurels, and it makes it's interesting. But what I found was the real good ones are the ones that are in person with a live event. Those
Yes.
are positive. And I've
I'd
literally
encourage any of the listeners to go to a film festival if you've never been. You and I, this wasn't our first. It's a lot of fun. The energy, there's a creative vibe, and these are movies that, don't get a big audience, but you'll see the actors and the directors and they'll do one-on-one talks and you actually learn a lot, whether you like the arts or even business. And it's a cool business. I mean, it's a lot of labor of love in it because,
Yeah.
especially documentaries don't make a whole lot of money, but it's really, really cool. It's a good way to spend a weekend, just sort of exploring different topics. I know I truly enjoyed it.
Look, I've learned a lot about the film industry.
Yeah,
And for
sure.
me, look, it is next to impossible to make money in the film industry with documentaries at this point. The
Right.
golden age was, in the last 10 years with Netflix, spending big money, that's gone away. When I started going to the film festivals and also the film markets, there's a big
Mm.
one in Santa Monica where distributors are purchasing. I went to a one last year in Berlin. And the difference is to get meetings with these distributors, you need a sales agent.
Right.
To get a sales agent, you need to have a film. So it's pretty difficult. And once you and in the money, when you talk about the financial side of making films,
Yeah.
or sorry, when you talk about the financial side of distributing a film and making some money back,
Yeah.
if you have a sales agent, they're going to take 10, 15%. If you have a distributor, they're going to take 50%. Okay. And you got to pay for all these. So you have to bring in, you have to make a lot of money for it to trickle down to yourself. So
Yeah.
I went with my whole goal from the beginning. Look, I knew my films, were not Top Gun 2, and I was not, I'm no Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to go with a non-traditional distribution model.
Right.
And with my films going after a Jewish audience, I thought, great, I just have to reach out to, the Jewish world. So we did like almost like guerrilla marketing. So
Yeah.
I made a beautiful mailer and sent it out to 1,200 synagogues and JCCs around the country. So and getting them to call and ask, try to do a screening at their facility. So the money side of the business it's definitely been a learning process.
Mhm.
And it's definitely not easy unless you have a very targeted audience that you can go try and attract.
You have a big event tonight. Didn't you tell me like 100 people are going or something? What do you have going on
100.
tonight?
It's no. Last week, so we're doing a major showing in Highland Park, Illinois tonight.
Uh-huh.
We had last week it was 100 people. Today,
Okay.
because of the news of the world and
Sure.
promotion and marketing, we're going to have 180 people there.
Are you kidding me?
So the place is packed. I've never shown it to that many people, in person at once. So it's very exciting. And I have tons of friends and family coming. I think Rich Levy, he's going to be there.
Yeah. Now, so you are you going to do a Q&A?
Oh yeah. I have a whole presentation planned, and it's really good. It talks about, I'm going to show the walk. I'm going to show the trailer for Everything's Kosher, and we're going to, I'm going to dig into what got me there, what I
Yeah.
see every day, and really, it's a very interesting story. Yeah.
You didn't do your walks alone. You had a little furry friend that would walk every day with you through your town and experience the same thing that you did. How's he doing?
Yeah, I mean that was why it was called the walk, because I would walk my dog through the city and the things that we would see. Hamilton went with me to Austria. I walked him through this town every day for 5 years, and yeah, after we made the film, and literally just a month ago, Hammy passed on. Hammy passed over the dog Rainbow,
Oh
and
man,
it was
I'm
time for
sorry to
him
hear
to
that.
go. And thanks. It's been been pretty devastating, and I've just it's like it's like losing a family member.
Yeah,
And
man.
I've been staying very busy, which is good, but the worst is when I I go home and I still I'll be making dinner and make a loud noise and think, oh, I don't want to bother Hammy, and and he's not there. So
Yeah.
it's been devastating, but this is kind of also a tribute to him as well.
Yeah, he's looking above. He's going to see all your success from this movie and his one time on film. So it'll be great.
Yeah, exactly. So
Good stuff.
may Hammy rest in peace.
So what's the next step with the walk? What do you do with it?
So again, it's in the film festival circuit right now. It's doing very well, but the bigger project here is, I have these encyclopedias of all of these camps,
Mhm.
And again, hardly anyone in the US and around the world knows about them. So we're working on a series of these hidden subcamps of World War II. So we're looking for to get it picked up as a series. And at first it's going to live on YouTube
Yeah.
possibly, but there is a never-ending supply. There is a never-ending supply of stories that we could do about
Yeah.
this. So that's the next step for the walk is getting the series developed. And I have filmmakers who I really like working with, cinematographers and sound people that that are on my team now,
Mhm.
and they're going to be helping me with that. So I'm really excited about that.
Very cool. All right. Where can people find out about the movie and information about the walk? And then obviously you have another movie coming out later this year.
I set up a nonprofit organization for my films. All my films are self-funded, and
Mhm.
it's called the Visual History Initiative. And there's a link. I'll send you a link to that, and
Okay.
people can go watch the trailers to my films. If they want to donate, feel free to help me make more of these films. We have about, 8 different of these hidden subcamps that we're doing a whole series on, and it's
Wow.
pretty fascinating. So if they want to see that, check out our website, and they'll get a good feel for what we have coming up.
Very good. Before I let you go, I got some questions I got to ask. A couple rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right. All right. There's a rumor
ahead.
going around that The Walk, your movie, which you star in, is going to become a one-man play. Is this true?
It's a possibility.
My follow-up question is, who will play you in The Walk? There's a couple names being floated. Or will
I've been
you
talking to
be the
cast.
one that does the one-man play?
No. We have to get someone much better than me. Look, you know me.
Eric Roberts?
I don't shy away from a stage. I'd be happy to do it, but
David Schwimmer would be
I made
great.
a commitment. I made a commitment to my daughter, so I have to stay in Germany most of the time to be with her.
So okay, so we will miss you in the one-man play, but I look forward to the one-man play coming to theater, Broadway, maybe in the near future.
Yeah, but in the meantime, I have the walk online. I have a whole presentation that people can watch. Your trusted listeners and viewers. So I'm excited for them to check it out.
All right, you mentioned one of the things that you miss most about the U.S. is the food. So I'm going to give you 3 foods. You can only pick one. Okay, to have. You can have it every day, whatever. Ready? Matzo ball soup, some good bagels, or a pastrami sandwich.
Pastrami sandwich. But
Pastrami all the way?
You left out pastrami, but you left out skirt steak.
You love skirt steak. I know that.
You know me. I love skirt steaks
continental
and
breakfast. Limos, continental
limos.
breakfast, and skirt steak. Those are your. And
you
champagne. You like champagne?
Champagne. So you walk into what's called the Metzgerei. Metzgerei, I'll teach you a little German. Metzgerei means butcher. So I walk into the Metzgerei and I ask for a skirt steak. And the hardy Bavarian ladies look at me with a look of puzzle. They have no idea what a skirt steak is. They don't have it in Germany. So that was one of the things that made me do my feature movie, Everything's Kosher, was because I couldn't find a skirt steak anywhere. So I said, I got to attempt to open up a Jewish deli here. So skirt steaks are number 1 on my list.
Please tell me you're going to the premiere tonight in a limo. Please do it.
I said to my sister who's coming with me, I said, we should get a limo to drive to this tonight. We are going to,
it might set the wrong tone, but you need to do it.
We're going to take a black car Uber extended. We're going to take a black car Uber up there to, so I can rest and, along the way.
All right. You can meet any Jewish person in history. Who would it be and why?
That's a really good question that I haven't thought about before. Albert Einstein.
Albert Einstein. Okay, I like it. I would love to know what you would be talking to Albert Einstein about, but that's a great one.
We got a
lot to talk about.
We got a lot to discuss.
A lot of people don't know that you love physics. All right, so who's the funniest Jewish comedian? I'm going to give you a couple of names just to sort of think through. Mel Brooks, Jerry Seinfeld, Don Rickles. Go with those three. You get to pick one.
I mean, I could watch Don Rickles all day long.
I can
That
watch
guy
Don
was
Rickles all the
hilarious.
time.
I mean, they're all good, but Don Rickles is he's a classic.
You're with me. One of my highlights at a JUF event a couple years before he died. I saw him, and man, he was old. He was, I don't know, 90 years old, and man, he still killed it. Like, he was hilarious. He ripped on people in the audience. Yeah, the guy's just a one of one. One of my all-time favorite. All right. This one is a little different. You stay at someone's house and you pee in their bed. Do you sneak out, or do you tell them in the morning that you peed in their bed?
You bring a glass of water with you, you dump it on the bed, and then you say, "Oh, sorry, I spilled water." And then you strip the bed, you take everything off, and then you walk out the door and you never come back.
All right. I know you're a big Laverne and Shirley fan. Who do you like better, Lenny or Squiggy?
Squiggy.
All right. You get keeping in line with the limos. I mean, with the limos. Yeah, right. You rest of your life, you get a masseuse, a chef, or a chauffeur. What do you pick?
A chauffeur.
A chauffeur. Okay. One last one.
Yes. I love cooking. But if someone drive me around every day, perfect.
It'd be great. It'd be great. All right. So you're tall, you got all your hair. Now you're a movie producer. Your J date must be blowing up. How is dating life going from a young, successful man in the movie business? It's got to be on fire.
Look, when I was in New York, that I wish I was living in New York. There's a lot of Jewish women there looking for a nice, tall Jewish guy like me. Now, in the middle of Bavaria, Germany, my dating life is challenging. Okay,
You're not exotic there.
More like kryptonite. No, it's they don't speak. Like people, my age. Young people in my age. They learned English a long time ago.
Sure.
In school, these Germans. So a lot of times a lot of people there speak English, but they don't feel comfortable with it. So unless someone speaks really good English, it's really difficult. So dating life has been challenging, but I'm not giving up.
Adam, why don't you tell me about this new challenge you have?
Over the events of the past few weeks, I'm sitting there with my daughter in Germany, and I'm playing the song Hava Nagila. She loves to dance around to it. And I had this, and I felt the joy that she was experiencing. And I love hearing that song. It's a special, celebration song. And I know, we're not looking to glorify celebrating right now, but it's more about giving Jewish people a little outlet for, a little bit of relief and a little bit of fun in trying times. So we're creating the Hava Nagila challenge. We created a really fun, cute video for it. And we're going to start promoting it. And what I want is people around the world, Jewish and non-Jewish, to play the song, dance, record yourself, tag us with the Hava Nagila challenge, and we are going to feature the best of the best at the end of one of my movies.
Very cool. Can't wait to check it out. Before I let you go, again, where can people find out about it? How can they view it? The walk, and then obviously later in the year or next year, your featured film.
So again, the easiest way to get to all of our films, go to visualhistoryinitiative.org. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you put a link here and you'll find all of the trailers to all of our stuff. There'll be links to reserve tickets to our next red carpet events.
Yeah.
And we're really looking forward to it. So again, the next big film is coming out in the spring. You have a little cameo in it. Thank you very much. Wait. And it's going to be exciting.
Well, my man, I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. These stories are so important. I'm glad that you're out there fighting the good fight, and especially with everything going on in the world, these stories need to be told. We need to be reminded. And you do beautiful work. I mean, for a guy who just picked up filmmaking, I've seen both your films. Highly recommended to the audience. It's just the quality is very, very good, and the storytelling is excellent. So congratulations. Keep doing what you're doing. Everyone listening, definitely check it out. I think you're going to watch. You can watch it on the links in the show, The Walk. Thank you for your time today, my man. Take care, amigo.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate it. And I wish you were here to come tonight. So
Awesome, man. We'd take a limousine.
all right.